Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something or someone that I know everyone knows and is very interested in, and that is Michael Jordan. And you know, if you ask any guy that knows anything about sports, ask them, who is the most talented athlete ever in the world? 9 times out of 10, they'll say Michael Jordan. I know, you ask my 3 sons or my husband, they'll say this guy, but no, Michael Jordan, he's the one. So I thought I might show you his chart today because he's in the news for one thing. There's a new movie out called Air about Nike and how they took on and hired Michael Jordan to make their company, failing company, into the great success that it is today. So it's a wonderful movie because it is about the star, powerful athlete, Michael Jordan, which I want to show you his chart today. What makes somebody this powerful of an athlete to be known around the world as the best? As a matter of fact, of course, Michael Jordan is a basketball all-time favorite star. Did you know that he even went and did baseball for a time? I mean, that tells you an athlete, they can adjust their agility to different sports. Pretty talented. And by the way, this is all in my new book. I did a lot of work talking about Michael Jordan because there's something in his chart that really you wouldn't expect at all. And that's one of the main reasons why I want to show his chart today. So let's put up Michael Jordan's chart and see what I'm talking about. What could it be that is surprising about his chart? Well, when you talk about sports, you're always going to focus in on the planet that rules sports. It rules muscles, blood, sports, aggression, competition. What is it? Mars. So let's look at where Mars is in his chart, which goes to the 2nd house in Cancer with Rahu. Now, why is that surprising? Because Mars' very weakest sign it can be in is Cancer. It's its debilitation sign. How on earth is this possible for the best athlete in the world? Does this kind of discount astrology? This just cannot be. So I know Vedic astrology works. So I took a little deeper dive into trying to understand what it is with Mars being debilitated in Cancer, why that would be the planet debilitated in his chart. So looking at Mars in Cancer, the next step to look at, well, Rahu would magnify Mars, number 1, and make it more powerful. So yes, so that's one thing. Now the next thing I want you to look at is what sign rules Cancer. It's the moon. And here's what we have. The moon is in Scorpio. Now that's another debilitation. The moon is debilitated and Mars is debilitated. This just can't be. Those are 2 weakened planets and very, very important planets. But here's the difference. The moon being in Scorpio, Scorpio rules Mars. And Mars being in Cancer, Cancer rules the moon. So what do we have here? This is called Parivartana in Vedic astrology, mutual exchange of signs in Western astrology. And when planets exchange signs in this manner, when they're in both each other's signs, Mars is in Cancer ruled by the moon is in Scorpio ruled by Mars, they exchange signs. It's like the moon is in Cancer And Mars is in Scorpio. So Mars essentially is in its own sign of rulership, making it incredibly powerful. And the moon is in its own sign of rulership, making it incredibly powerful. So here is what flip-flops these debilitated planets into the strength that they are in. And by the way, you can't see this, but looking at this, but Mars is actually, when you look at this, Mars is in Scorpio in his Navamsha chart. And the Navamsha chart is the chart that can give power and strength to planets. So Mars turns around and becomes incredibly powerful, giving rise to the situation that this chart does denote one of the best athletes in the world. So that was the main gist that I wanted you to see about Michael Jordan's chart. I go into further great detail in my book, but let me talk about Mars being in Cancer and the moon being in Scorpio, because this is a great segue, and I'm not kidding. I have a conference in Dallas, Texas. It is the Future of Astrology. And by the way, it's June 2nd through the 5th. Mark your calendar. But the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because I couldn't find a good time in the year to have my conference. Jupiter will be with Rahu, which is monumental and major explosive changes on the time of my conference. But I couldn't find a good time because Mars was going to be debilitated for a very long time. Actually, it's debilitated between May 10th and July 1st while Mars is transiting in Cancer. So guess what I did? I found the weekend that it works, because I found the weekend where Mars is in Cancer and the moon is in Scorpio, which is the day that the conference starts that night, June 2nd. So therefore, I found the best astrological time. And you can personally see that this time totally works for Michael Jordan because of the exchange of signs of Mars and the moon. So by the way, it's down below if you are more interested about this incredible conference that I'm putting on with some of the major stars of Vedic astrology you will not want to miss, such as Mark Boney, James Braha, Kapil Raj, Ronnie Gale Dreyer, Juliana Swanson, and I, and many more. If you want to get together and learn from the greats in Vedic astrology, don't miss this. Mark your calendar. June 2nd through the 5th, Future of Astrology in Dallas, Texas, and it is the future of astrology. Let me just say that. So I hope you got something about how important the Parivartanas, or the mutual exchange of signs, are in a chart. If you don't get that, you will miss volumes on how to interpret a chart. This really is powerful. And I love when I see Parivartana, mutual exchange, in a chart, because you know those two planets are going to be superb, off the charts, incredibly powerful. Their signs will reverse. Their power and energy reverses. And this goes for all of the Parivartanas. And even like, for example, I've seen one in some charts recently that were like off the charts. When you have Saturn in Aquarius, no, I mean Saturn in Leo, and the Sun in Aquarius, they will really exchange, because when you have Saturn in Leo, it's ruled by the Sun. And when you have the Sun in Aquarius, I mean Saturn the Sun in Aquarius and Saturn in Leo, they exchange signs because Saturn rules Aquarius and the Sun rules Leo. And they also aspect each other by being in opposition. That is a dynamite Parivartana. And I speak about many Parivartanas in my book, but don't forget the conference. And I will see you there. All information, if you want to know about the conference, if you want to know about me, my newsletter, my magazine, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and sign up. And I would love to see you in Dallas in June. Thank you.